Welcome to THALIR. This is a place called Bud. This is budding forth for a new life, and we are Capuchins working for the renewal of the society and the church.
Brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, today is the third day of the Novena. We are very happy to have Reverend Brother Fr.S.S.SAHAYARAJ, Capuchin priest, for this message. He has been Capuchin religious since 1983 and a priest from 1989. He served as the director of Postulants for 2 years and novice master for 8 years. He was rector of the Philosophical College for 2 years, and he specialized in Franciscan spirituality in Rome, and he completed his master's in pastoral counseling in New York. Presently, he serves as the counselor and psychotherapist for the past 23 years. Welcome, Brother Sahayaraj, Capuchin Friar.
Greetings of peace and joy, dear sisters and brothers. We are preparing to celebrate the feast of our seraphic father, St. Francis of Assisi. On the third day of the Novena of St. Francis, I would like to reflect along with you on the theme Franciscan minority, particularly on work, one of the dimensions of minority. St. Francis, in his later rule of 1223, chapter 5, he wrote, "Those brothers to whom the Lord has given the grace of working may work faithfully and devotedly." The grace of working. In Genesis, work was entrusted to Adam and Eve as a curse. In chapter 3, verses 17 and 19, we read, "Through painful toil, you will eat food from the soil all the days of your life. With the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground." Thus, work was considered as a curse to humanity. But St. Francis, our Father, has changed it into a grace. We have been given the grace of working along with God in creating and embellishing the world. In Bible, 2 Hebrew words are used to speak about creation. The first one is beria, which means that God created the world out of nothing. And the second word is etzira, which is being used to mean creation from the pre-existing substance. God created out of nothing, but the humanity collaborates with God in further enhancing and beautifying the world. We as humans continue to work as co-creators. Pope John Paul II, in his encyclical on human work, confirms this, that a man through his work becomes more and more the master of the earth, and as he confirms his dominion over the visible world. And Psalm 8 emphatically asserts the fact that we are co-creators in the following words: "When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them. You have made them a little lower than angels and crowned them with glory and honor. You have made them rulers over the works of your hands and crowned them with glory and honor." Yes, dear brothers and sisters, this is the grace of working that we have received from the Creator. St. Francis wanted his brothers to be humble and simple in their life. He portrays himself as an example in his testament. "And I worked with my hands, and I still desire to work, and I earnestly desire all my brothers to give them to honest work. Let those who do not know how to work learn, not from desire to receive wages, but for example and to avoid idleness." Gandhiji, the father of our Indian nation, advocated the dignity of labor, and led by his example, he worked with his own hands, weaved, cleaned, and performed other forms of daily work. He said, "Hands that help are holier than lips that advise." Dear sisters and brothers, I'm impressed by the video that we are going to watch. These men are differently abled. Some do not have one hand, others one leg, and there is a man without both their hands. But all of them work. They acknowledge that they have been given the grace of working, and with the dignity of labor, they work. When we say that we have been given the grace of working, naturally we are grateful to God. Grace is a gratuitous gift from God. Of course, we are endowed with very many talents and gifts. Pope John Paul II, in his encyclical letter on human work, teaches us the social dimension of work. A person's work is fundamentally connected with that of other people. The fruits of work give rise to opportunities for interaction, relationship, and encounter with others. Pope John Paul II reminds us in his encyclical letter, 100th year, work is work with others and work for others. Dear sisters and brothers, I would like to share about one gentleman, Mr. Palam Kalyanasudaram. The word Palam is a Tamil word which means bridge in English. Mr. Kalyanasudaram is a bridge between the poor and the rich. He was a librarian in a university. He spent his entire salary for the poor, for the education of the children. And in order to feed himself, he would work in a restaurant. He gave away his agricultural land to the people who worked in it. He runs a non-governmental organization. He was honored by US as the man of the millennium, 300 million of rupees, which he received as a reward for charity. His retirement he gave entirely to the poor. Dear sisters and brothers, we are endowed with gifts and talents. These gifts and talents are for the sake of others, to be shared with others. St. Paul, in his first letter to Corinthians, chapter 12, verses 7 to 11, speaks that the gifts that are given to us are given for the purpose of serving the humanity, the community. And now, how far do we use these gifts and talents that we have received for the sake of others? How do we recognize our identity as co-creators with God? Let us remember the warning that St. Paul gives to Thessalonians: the one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. Our Father St. Francis also reminds us the danger of idleness. Now, as we are reflecting about the grace of working, how far have been giving or sharing these talents and gifts that we have received from God to enhance the lives of others, to embellish the earth, our own world. And happy feast to all of you.